I'm Maxine Roper and I'm a freelance writer. I was diagnosed fairly late. I was 21 and in my second year at university. I actually came into it through problems with maths. I'd had problems all my life with that. But when I went in for a diagnosis, because I had problems with a statistics module as an undergraduate, I suddenly discovered that there was a link between that and lots of other difficulties I'd had when I was younger. And I was exceptionally premature as well, and I think I'd always known that there was something up, but never quite had a name for it. And when I went for my assessment, suddenly everything started to make sense. It varies very much depending on age. A child with dyspraxia won't have the same worries and concerns as an adult with dyspraxia. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realise. There's a lot of understanding about dyspraxia in children, a lot of support in schools, but that tends to evaporate as you get older. As an adult with dyspraxia, some of the biggest problems I face are around time management and organisation and short-term memory, particularly as a freelancer, having to organise my own time. Yes, I think really I'd say bafflement a lot of the time, just not being able to explain some of the idiosyncrasies, like for example, getting a name into my head wrongly. There'll be a name and it sounds similar to another name, and I will have the wrong name in my head for no reason at all and not be able to explain why. And a lot of difficulties with spatial awareness, finding my way around new places, just being able to get my head around protocol when I'm somewhere for the first time. I think disclosure has become a lot easier because I've been doing a lot of awareness events because of the difficulties that I had in the workplace when I was younger. The more I do, the easier it gets. But certainly when I was younger, I was reluctant to disclose because I didn't want to be seen as making a fuss, and it was a fairly new diagnosis. I think empathy is the biggest thing really in terms of making things easier for people. It's not always easy to tell that somebody has a difficulty. It's not something that you can see like a physical disability, but I think if you have empathy with people, if you can change your thinking from this person is lazy and stupid and trying to inconvenience me to this person might be having a really bad time of it, this person might be having a bad day, then you can make things a lot easier. I think dyslexia and dyspraxia tend to be lumped in together quite often, because dyslexia is a lot better known. So somebody will go in for an assessment at, say, a university disability advisory centre, and they'll be told that they're dyslexic. But there are differences. I think classically with dyslexics, they can be very good at visual spatial awareness, they can have very good fine motor skills. Somebody with dyspraxia will tend to have difficulties in those areas and be a lot stronger in words. They tend to think in words rather than in pictures. I think a lot of people with dyspraxia, as I've said, tend to be very verbal. Obviously I have that verbal strength. The difference between me and a lot of other people is that I don't have a safe fallback option if my job doesn't work out. A lot of people will start out in writing and the creative industries and give up and go into something safer because it's not very well paid, because they want the security. When you're dyspraxic and you struggle with things like high-level administration, that's often a problem. So you tend to be more determined, more focused.